So we're making a wall hanger today for our friends over at the TACKroomHATworks right there. They're neighbors in our parking center. They made me my hat, as you've seen in other videos. And just gonna give them a little gift, so check it out. So we're starting out right here with his brand. The actual logo and brand of his business is what's traced in with pencil. I went in ahead and added a little bit extra, so the tooling itself will be its brand, and then there will be extra space around the outside. I'm really excited to see how this looks, or how it's gonna turn out. I'm gonna start off by laying down some circles so we can get that floral scrolling. I like to get those circles in there so I could see where my flowers are gonna go. Normally I draw in all the flowers first, but this piece in particular, I kind of did it in a little bit of chunks. But even in those chunks, I drew out all the flowers first, just so that way, you can get a direction of where the vine's gonna go and where your loop-de-loops are gonna go and how everything's gonna kumbaya. Sometimes this helps too with vines like going over the top of flowers, which is pretty common, so whatever works for you. Alright, so I got it all drawn in. I'm gonna start with lining in my flowers and carving it up. I thought I'd leave this regular speed clip in here to show you how fast this actually moves before I move it into the fast mode. I got all my flowers tooled, and then what I go into next is the leaves. I'm a firm believer, or at least my floral style is to kind of highlight those flowers and the leaves, and the rest of the floral is more so in the background. So depending on your style, your order of operation is going to be a little different. Now it's time to start getting those vines in. If you notice, I start down at the end and I work my way down the vine rather than go up the vine. I find that this kind of helps you layer things a little bit cooler, a little bit neater. You get to do a lot of cool tricks, like even though your drawing might be one way, you could add in little fine details that maybe you didn't necessarily draw in originally, and you just get to work out the flow a lot better. So now we're gonna go get all these pencil marks off. People ask me if they should draw their designs on a separate piece of paper or draw it straight on. In my opinion, I like drawing it straight on. Also, I kind of like it when there's a little bit of pencil residue on the design, to be honest. It kind of adds, just for example, we'll kind of zoom in and talk about this. You can see some of these lines are moving in the same direction as the petals. I kind of like those on there because it helps give it a little bit of an optical illusion. It gives you more lines all moving in the same direction, which helps add with a little bit of flow. Everybody's got their own technique. But there we go. Boom. Now it's time to get tapping on this. Alright, so when I start tooling, I start doing the flowers and the leaves the same way. I do my carving because these are going to be the highlight points, the most foreground objects in the tooling itself. So we want these to stand out and pop. Everything else is pushed into the background. I bevel the same way I swivel knife. I start at the end and then work my way down the vine. I think it's even more important when it comes to beveling. That way you don't smash down any bevels and flatten your surface. You can keep everything nice and crispy. Bevel's looking good. Now it's time to get freaky with the pear shader. Pear shader turned out good. Now we move on to some other decorative stuff. Some scallop tools, some cedars. Pear shader's done. A couple scallops, did my leaves. I did some the centers of all the flowers. Now I'm gonna background it and see what I got left. When it comes to backgrounding, there is No real order of operation at all. It's just try not to forget any chunks and don't background anything that you don't intend on. You just kind of let it fly. Yeah, you can check it out on my decorative cuts. I'm gonna let this dry up a little bit and then do a little bit of staining. I really wanted to make this floral pop out and really seem three-dimensional, so I went with a black background, and then I went and I did a little bit of drop shading, drop staining around certain things, as you can see, mainly the flowers and other things that I wanted to pop out more than others, and then we gave it a nice dark brown border. Give it a little coat of oil and some resist. All right, about to lay down some stain. It's gonna look crazy like I ruined it, and then it's gonna look nice. Some people like to use rags or even, sheepskin to apply stain. I personally really like the toothbrush method because I know for a fact it's down in those cracks. Sometimes with the rag, it gives the illusion that it does, and once it dries, it kind of separates and you realize you don't get all the way down in the cracks. And then I go and wipe off as much excess stain and work all that stain down into the background and details as much as I can. Once that coat of stain is dry, I go in with a damp towel and buff off any of the excess. What this does, it removes any stain off of all the high points you notice on the left and the right. It just looks so dingy on the right. Like, this step does so much for the piece. It's an absolute must if you're not doing it already. Zip it up and together on the sewing machine real quick. Give those edges a little bit of love. Ta-da! There it is. Got it backed. Got it sealed. Got the little hanging doodad on the back side. Nice and centered. Symmetrical, so it's not wobbly left or right. I hope you liked the video. These nice folks made this nice hat for me. Boom. I pointed at the, this is what I went. I was like, hey, you guys, can you make me a hat just like this one right here? So, anyways, they do great work. They always have crazy lines. You can check them out on social media. They know what they're doing. Highly recommend them. Hope you guys liked the video too, by the way. I hope it was fun, informational. I hope it was oddly satisfying, That's probably half the reason why you guys watch these videos anyways, because it's so oddly satisfying. Anyways, I'm good. I'm tired. I'm beat the hell up. I'm gonna go home, take a nap, call it quits for the day, I guess, man. I'm tired. Be good, you guys.